Hi there, so in this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you about applying depth of field in post-production with a ZDepth map, which saves a lot of time when rendering because it takes forever to render out depth of field. But so in 3ds Max I've just got this simple scene, just a box, sphere and a teapot, and a Vray plane, camera, and just a sunlight. There's a bit of global illumination, but this is basically what we're going to be taking the render of, just for a test really. So all you need to do to get a ZDepth map is in your render setup, go into your render elements in Vray, and you need to just add it in here. Click the add button, scroll down to the bottom and add in your ZDepth. And the default settings will be for it to put a maximum and a minimum, which often I find works quite well, but you can tweak these settings. And the good way to test what your ZDepth looks like is if you just create a really tiny render box, so it renders out really quickly, and it'll show you what your ZDepth is going to look like, basically as a little preview. So that to me looks pretty good, but I'll just show you what happens when you tweak your settings a bit. So you could have you could lower your max a lot further, which would make a lot more of the image whiter. So for example, I'll just do 250. Oh, I mean a lot more darker, should I say. Yeah, if you further that the other way, it should be more in white and therefore more in focus. There you go, because the white areas are what's going to be in focus when we go into After Effects or Photoshop. So I'd quite like to get it a bit more grey at that teapot because I want that to be a bit blurry. So I think the default settings are pretty good. I'll just put it to 1000 and just test that out. Yep. So there you go. That's what I choose as my ZDepth setting. And you can also push the minimum up, but it's just a lot easier to tweak your ZDepth using a levels tool in After Effects. So I'm going to render this out as HD. So I'll pause the video and then carry on in a minute.
A few moments later.
Okay, so that render is done. Nothing special. I'm just going to save it out, and I'm going to save it as PNG because I want to put a little background in because it's gonna have this as an alpha map. So render. And I'll just save out my ZDepth as well. If you're doing this as an image sequence, it will automatically save your ZDepth in the same folder, or I think it does anyway. I think maybe it's an option you can choose. But there we go, they're both saved. Yeah, you can choose what you want it to be saved as and where with this little box here, and that'll automatically save it out for you. So I'm just going to come out of 3ds Max now and go into After Effects. Yeah, that'll be fine, and I'm just going to get those two files that I just rendered out. So if we put in our render, I'm just going to change the background colour just to make it a bit blend in a bit nicer. Annoying black line that Max gives in renders. Oh, probably yeah, I'm not going to do it in this tutorial, but you could use the matte choker to get rid of that. I'll set this to full. And yeah, so you just want to bring in your ZDepth map. It should look like that. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control Shift C to make its new composition, and just go into that. So just go into that, and I'm just going to create a black solid behind it because I should have just saved it as a JPEG, because we don't need an alpha layer with this. So yeah, we're just going to make it like that, and actually what I'll do is add an adjustment layer, and if we use levels, drop it in there, we can tweak what this looks like. So this is a good way to you can animate these levels bars as well, which you can do a depth of field change, which is always pretty nice. If you pull this right handle down to the start of the graph, it will make this area properly white. So I'm just going to pull it down until the front bit of my cube is completely white. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So we can just go back into our main composition where we have this. And if we just hide that and go onto our render PNG, we can add a lens blur, camera lens blur straight onto that. Repeat edge pixels, and we can use as our blur map our ZDepth map, which at the moment it's inverted, and the further away will be more in focus, which might be what you want, but I always tend to invert it, so the further you go away, the more blurry it is, and you have a lot of control with this. You can obviously create it more blurry. The only problem with using ZDepth is it does create these weird little blurs on the edges of your objects that wouldn't be blurry in real life depth of field. So don't push it overboard. Just use it subtly. And yeah, there you have it. You've got your depth of field from your ZDepth map. And as I said, you could go in here and just turn on your auto key, and you might choose to animate the whole thing to be in focus. Like so, that would, if you pulled that down, say I'll go to 10 seconds, I'll just pull that down all the way. In my first composition, it will all be all be in focus, whereas at the beginning it's not. Maybe I'll take this off full. So you can see the focus coming out. It's not the best quality because I've changed it down a bit, because the lens blur effect is still pretty intensive, but nowhere near as intensive as it is in 3ds Max to create some real depth of field, because yeah, your renders just take forever with that. So that's about it for this tutorial. I might as well go into Photoshop and show you how to do it on stills. So yeah, I'll just drag in my two pieces here. It's pretty much the same, if I can remember how to do it. It's been a while. need to reveal all layers. Yeah, reveal all on the layer mask. And then if you, again, I'm going to just kind of fill. Oh, that's really annoying. That line. Create a new layer and just pop it underneath. Okay. Yeah, save your ZDepth out as a JPEG with a black environment, because yeah, it's just annoying to add a solid behind it every time. Yeah, and again, I'm just going to use the levels in Photoshop, bring it down so the front of that box is in focus. I'll just hit Control A to highlight everything, and I'm just going to cut it, and I'm going to paste it into this white layer mask, basically. If I can. Oh, actually, you need to go into Channels and make this final mask visible, and you can paste it in there, and it's going to go weird and red, but don't worry, just go on your layers and click back on the main sort of image here, and then you want to go to Filter, Blur, Lens Blur, and then Photoshop's really good because you can actually click on the point you want it to be in focus. So I could click on that teapot, and theoretically, oh, okay, we're inverted at the moment, so yeah, click your little tick box there. And that's a bit extreme. And then if I click on that box, it should make it in focus, and the back blurry. That's still shut up. Why has that changed so high? Oh, that's your focal distance, not the actual. Okay, yeah. So I'm just going to change down my radius to about 5. I don't want anything, or maybe 10. Yeah, I don't want anything too extreme. And then you can click on where you want the focus point to be. So I can click on that teapot and it'll make the foreground blurry. Photoshop is really good with these ZDepth maps. So yeah, you can click what you want in focus and then just OK that out. And then you can just delete this ZDepth because you don't need it anymore. And there you have it, basically. I can just stick a... I think we're still going to get that annoying black line, but yeah, that looks horrendous. So yeah, you might want to get rid of that black line, or just render an environment behind it that's the same color, or create a sloped curve in 3ds Max. Like you could, I just use a Vray plane, but you could make a little slope, like a studio kind of setup to get rid of that. But yeah, there's the basics of using ZDepth. So hopefully that was of use to at least a few people, and thank you for watching.